All right, so these two British guys, Josh and Jase, with over 2 million followers online, just spent the last 2 weeks touring Michigan in the middle of winter. One of them even ended up in the hospital.
If I had to walk.
And instead of going home, they just crossed into the UP, and they're still posting videos right now saying that Michigan might be their favorite place in all the United States.
Michigan! It is freezing! South Haven is our first stop. Let us know what
You serious?
So if you've been kicking around the idea of moving to Michigan for a better quality of life, what's happening on their channel right now is about to validate everything you've been feeling. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Eric Meldrum with True Living Group, and my team and I help people just like you guys make that move here to Michigan, and we got your back when doing so. So in today's video, guys, here's what we're covering, okay? First, we're going to talk about what Josh and Jase are discovering in Michigan that is absolutely breaking the internet right now. Second, we're going to take a look at the medical emergency that could have ended their trip, but instead proved to really validate everything I tell relocating families. And third, I'm going to show you exactly how much it would cost to buy a home in the actual cities that they visited, because that comparison, that's really kind of what makes it click for a lot of people. But before we get into all that, I got to give credit where credit's due. You need to head over to their channel and check out what's happening, because 2 million people are watching Michigan through a completely fresh set of eyes. This is not what I'm telling you. This is what they're actually experiencing here in Michigan. So definitely encourage you guys to go check them out. But if you don't know who they are Josh and Jase. They're British travel influencers who are touring what they call average American cities. Okay, looking for these hidden gems, not like these tourist traps, like the real places that real people actually live, and they want to experience that firsthand. And 2 weeks ago, they surprised everybody on their channel by announcing they're starting their latest trip in the US right here in Michigan in January. Okay, that's the dead of winter here in Michigan. And their followers and Michiganders completely lost their minds. So kicking their trip off, they started in South Haven, Michigan, which is right on Lake Michigan. And the first thing they see,
There is no way you're telling me that is a lake. That is that is the Pacific Ocean, mate.
you guys, he is dead serious. He genuinely thinks that Lake Michigan is an ocean. And honestly, I get it. If you've ever seen the Great Lakes, you don't understand the scale of it, okay, until you're standing on the beach. Lake Michigan has over 1,600 miles of shoreline. And the best part, no sharks, no salt water. And in the summer, it's like 85 degrees, bluish greenish water, crystal clear, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now, here's why this matters to you. You know, a lot of the people that I talk to who are thinking about moving here, they're coming from coastal cities and they're wondering kind of the same thing. You know, am I trading down in lifestyle? And they kind of think that they're giving up, you know, the beach, or they're losing that access to water, but in reality, you're really not. But I can tell you something, watching someone from England who literally lives on an island see Lake Michigan for the first time and think that it's an ocean, okay, that tells you something. You're just trading ocean for Great Lakes, and honestly, the Great Lakes might even actually be better. All right, so after Lake Michigan just blew their mind, they didn't waste any time diving into the food scene, okay? They started their tour in South Haven at Clementine's, and they tried their homemade ranch and the onion rings. Okay, the reaction was priceless. Then they went to Lucy's in Grand Rapids and tried their cinnamon buns topped with bacon. Next, they went to Wally's Bar and Grill. Josh ordered a brisket burger. And it seems like every place they're stopping at, they actually like the food. Now, I don't know if they're doing that just because they don't want to throw shade on any of the restaurants here in Michigan, but here's what I will tell you. You know, Michigan food scene is really good. It's not New York, it's not LA, but we do have is really, really good food that doesn't cost $40 for a burger and fries. So the next thing that really stood out to Josh and Jase as they're touring Michigan was how nice the people are. And you guys, I've been telling you guys about this for so long on this channel.
I've got to say something. America, I have to say this. I'm currently in Michigan in the Midwest. Midwestern people are some of the nicest people I've ever met. They're just waving at me. Everyone is so nice in the Midwest. It's just everyone is so polite.
Josh and Jase have found that, you know, they're not just discovering Michigan, they're discovering the places and they're discovering the people here. You know, they went to Hope College basketball game in Holland, you know, just to check it out. And these guys stayed until the very last person got a photo with them. And here's what they posted online. They said, "We turned up to Hope College tonight for a college basketball game and we were swarmed. And we made sure to stay right to the last person leaving to make sure everyone got their photo." So that's not normal, by the way. Okay, that level of fan interaction, most influencers probably would have taken a couple photos and then been out. They're like, "I got to go, peace." But they stayed because that's what Michigan hospitality does. It makes you actually want to show up for the people. But the story gets even better, you guys. You know, they're eating lunch at a restaurant in Grand Rapids And a staff member from Meldrum Ministries, a local homeless shelter, recognizes them and introduces themselves. So Josh and Jase end up touring this homeless shelter. They post about it. And in one social media post, they were able to raise $47,000 for the shelter in like one day. And I'm telling you guys, that's not just people are nice here. That's a community that actually shows up for something that matters. And every single family that I help move here from cities around the US, this is exactly what they end up talking about. Okay. It starts with the house prices, Lake Michigan, better quality of life, and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, the reason people stay is for the community. Okay, so we need to talk about what happened to Josh last weekend, because this is where it gets real for him. You know, Saturday morning, Josh and Jase were making a video. They posted it themselves, shoveling snow at Boyne Mountain, and they were panicking. Like every Brit freaking out, like they don't know how to shovel snow. It's actually funny content. I think the guys are hilarious, actually. But a few hours later, Jase posted this.
We'll follow up behind you, Josh, yeah?
So it turns out he hurt his back shoveling snow. He has a bulging disc, a little bit more technical stuff. He made a video about it. They give him a back brace, heavy duty pain medications, the whole deal. Now, here's where Michigan culture shows up in a way that Josh and Jase did not expect at all. And if you're from Michigan, you probably know or think you know what's happening in the comments right now. And Michiganders were absolutely flooding their posts telling Josh to drink Verner's. And if you're not from here and you don't know the story of Verner's, it's a ginger ale pop that's made right here in Detroit since 1866. And every single Michigander grows up believing it's the only medicine you'll ever need. But here's why this is such a big deal. You know, the Michigan community showed up for these guys, and fans were offering to set up a GoFundMe page to raise funds for Josh's medical expenses, even though they had travelers insurance. People were sending messages to them from all over the state. The hospital staff took amazing care of them. And at the end of this little scare, Josh and Jase had a real choice to make. Do they end the trip and go home? Do they recover in England where it's not freezing? Or do they keep going?
We've decided we're going to continue.
We're going to head to the UP, and what we're going to cross, Jase?
We're going to cross the Mackinac Bridge. We're Michiganders now.
We are Michiganders. The journey continues. Bridge to heaven.
Whoa, look at it! It's beautiful but terrifying at the same time. You can see through the bridge, and you can see the lake.
Did we run out of tarmac?
How is that safe?
Why is the bridge talking to us?
So I know these guys are tough, and that's not just a commitment to the content that they're making, but I think that's more of like the trust that Michigan earned along the way. So these guys could not have showed up in Michigan at a worse time. Okay, in the heart of winter, this is not the time when you want to be visiting, checking out, like, is this a good place to live? Let's be real. Okay, in their first videos, they were complaining so much about the cold, and it's real. I get it. Like when you're not used to it, it's a shock. But here's what they didn't do. They didn't let any of this stop them. Okay, they went sledding at Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes, which I haven't even done, you guys. Okay, I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm learning something from their channel as well. They went tubing at Boyne Mountain. They climbed Mount Baldhead in Saugatuck. They visited the Howland Windmills, and they couldn't even believe kind of how European it felt over there. So you guys, if you're thinking about moving here and you're absolutely terrified of winter, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's not cold. Okay, it is. It's really cold. Okay, just go watch Jase and Josh's videos. But you do adapt just like they did. You buy a good coat, you get a remote start for your car, you actually learn to appreciate the seasons, and you get some gloves and a scarf and a hat eventually. Those guys did. And honestly, for me, there's something really special about the winter here in Michigan. You know, it's ingrained in my core memories as a kid, having snowball fights, having snow days, you know, just going sledding, getting out and doing whatever you want in the winter. I mean, it's like you talk to anybody living in Michigan, if you go snowmobiling, you just got so much more to do. But the reality is winter is real here, and it doesn't stop life just because, you know, it snows. And it didn't stop Josh and Jase, and trust me guys, it won't stop you either. As of yesterday, they were in the city of Marquette in the Upper Peninsula. They posted from Delft Bistro, which is on Lake Superior in the background. Their tour isn't over, you guys. They're going deeper into Michigan. They're extending their stay. I'm hoping they're going to make their way down to Southeast Michigan to explore as well. But think about that for a second, okay? They came for content, but they got hurt, and they're staying because they genuinely want to. And I know the internet's watching Michigan in real time through a completely fresh set of eyes, and what they're seeing is validation that everything Michigan people have been saying for years is absolutely true. So let's talk about what Josh and Jase can't show you because they're tourists, okay? They're not relocating here. They're staying in hotels. You'd be buying a house, you know? So let's look at what buying a home in the actual places that they fell in love with would cost you. So their first stop was in South Haven, where Josh thought Lake Michigan was the ocean, and a median home in South Haven will run run you $434,000. Their next stop was in Holland, where the windmills blew their minds, and a median home price in Holland is $319,000. Next up, they went over to Grand Rapids, where they raised $47,000 for that homeless shelter, and the median home price in Grand Rapids is right around $300,000. And next, they're off to Traverse City, where they said Lake Michigan is basically just an ocean with a fake ID, and the median home price there is $420,000. Now, just for comparison, I wanted to put that in perspective. Some other places around the US, if you're living in Irvine, California, median home price is $1.4 million. If you're living in San Diego, California, $950,000. If you're living in Seattle, $875,000, and if you're on the East Coast, on Boston, that's $825,000 for a single family home. Even Traverse City, the most expensive place that they visited, is less than half the price of San Diego. So let's go a layer deeper, and let's say you're making $200,000 a year. You buy a house for $900,000. You know, the housing cost for that, if you're assuming you're putting 20% down, is going to be $7,600 a month. Okay, the money you have left over is roughly $3,400 a month. If you buy, say, in Grand Rapids for $300,000, your housing cost is going to be $2,500 a month, and the money you have left over is $8,500 a month. Okay, that's an extra $5,100 a month in your pocket. That is an extra $61,000 a year, and over 5 years, that's over $300,000 in actual breathing room that you might be able to save, go on vacation, and do things for. So that's what Josh and Jase can't show you on their travels, but I can tell you right now, that's what changes everything for most people. So look, I know what you're thinking. If you're seriously considering making this move, you're wondering if the quality of life is actually better here in Michigan, or if it's just what people tell themselves to feel okay about it. You're actually wondering if you'll miss the things you have where you are right now. You're wondering if Michigan has enough culture, enough opportunity, enough genuine connections in life. But Josh and Jase just spent 2 weeks here in January, literally like the worst time to fall in love with the place. And one of them ended up being in the hospital. And you guys, they're still here, still posting, still saying that Michigan might be their favorite place in the whole entire US. And they're choosing to stay here in Michigan and continue their tour. So guys, what you're feeling about wanting more of a better quality of life, it's not just wishful thinking. And if anything, watch what Josh and Jase are doing on their channel right now. That should tell you everything you need to know about Michigan. All right, so I can't wait to see where these guys go next in Michigan. I'm going to stay tuned on it. If you want more on what Josh and Jase are up to, I'm going to do a part 2 to this. But if you do want more information on living here in Michigan, and if you guys are seriously considering making that move, all you got to do is reach out, call, text, email, or better yet, down in the description, I put a Zoom link and you can book a Zoom call. Okay, no pressure, no sales tactics. This is our strategy call to get you guys really underway on your first steps in making that move here to Michigan. We'll get everything ironed out with me and my team. So go ahead and book that call, and I will see you on the next one.